9th, 1999, asked what distinguished him from fellow Democratic presidential hopeful Bill Bradley, Al Gore started talking about technology in the 21st century and mentioned that while in Congress, quote, I took the initiative in creating the Internet. I took the initiative in moving forward a whole range of initiatives that have proven to be important to our country's economic growth and environmental protection improvements in our educational system. And thus was born the urban legend that Al Gore ever claimed he had invented the Internet. Tonight, in our number one story in the countdown, the former vice president can finally sleep the sleep of he who has been shunted out of the what the limelight. This will be the day the story began that John McCain claimed he invented the Blackberry. One of his economics boys, and you would think they'd be hiding underground TFN, but no, senior policy advisor Douglas Holtz-Eakin met with reporters today. Holtz-Eakin was trying to convince them McCain had the chops to fix the economy, even though McCain says it doesn't really need fixing. That's when Mr. Holtz-Eakin held up his own Blackberry to the reporters and said the words to be chronicled for history.
What did he do on the Commerce Committee that Americans could look at and say, oh, this is the guy who understands financial markets? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't
have jurisdiction over financial markets, first and foremost, but he did this. Telecommunications of the United States, the premier innovation in the past 15 years, comes right through the Commerce Committee. So you're looking at the miracle that John McCain helped create, and that's what he did.
The audio of that miraculous claim, perhaps to the chagrin of the miracle worker himself, was captured by Politico reporter on a Blackberry, which, by the way, is a product of a Canadian company. Back at whatever company produced McCain, the urgency of nipping it in the bud was apparent. Quoting headquarters, he would not claim to be the inventor of anything, much less the Blackberry. This was obviously a boneheaded joke by a staffer. McCain, however, is said to have laughed. There's no one I wanted to share this special moment with more than with Rachel Maddow. Her show is moments away. Good evening, Rachel.
Hi, Keith.
Is this the perfect storm? Because just as the media finally starts calling the McCain campaign a farce, in Richard Cohen's word, and McCain himself a liar, his guy claims McCain invented the Blackberry.
And it has to be the Blackberry when McCain is on record saying he doesn't know what the email is, or at least that he doesn't know how to use the email. I mean, you lie about the big stuff, you know? You lie about taxes. You lie about your opponent's record. You lie about the bridge to nowhere. You lie about earmarks. And people say, oh, politics isn't beanbag. Like this, you should stop lying about, you should stop whining about the lying. But you start lying about little things that you really don't have to lie about. That there isn't even really any political advantage to lying about. Things that you're lying about just because you're so comfortable with lying. Stuff like the crowd size at your rallies, things that can be disproven, things about whether or not your teleprompter is broken when you give a big speech, Governor Palin. And now the idea that you invented the Blackberry. You start lying about little things you don't have to lie about, and people start to think you're a liar because it starts to seem like you're enjoying it.
Teleprompters and Blackberries. There's a technology component to this too, but larger than this, there is politician's disease. This is the essence of it. If it moves, you are told to claim that you invented it, or you have to take credit for it somewhere. Right. Years ago, I was the obligatory baseball guy at a baseball event for the city of New York. Rudy Giuliani introduced me, and then I introduced the players. But before he introduced me, he talked about the weather and said he had ordered it. He talked about how well the Yankees and the Mets were doing, and he said he'd rooted for them to do well. He said if he had been the mayor when the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants were still there, they'd never have moved. He would never have let them move, and we'd have 4 teams. Is it impossible for all politicians to not try to grab credit when it's sitting there, or just for some of them?
It's like when presidents and politicians revel in the sporting success of whatever the team is in their town, or the Olympics, or whatever it is. Honestly, it's like Sarah Palin talking about credit for that pipeline across Alaska that doesn't exist, or credit for killing the bridge to nowhere, which she didn't kill. You find something that you think people might like, and then you just attach yourself to it like there's a trailer hitch on it. I think it's politics 101 at this point. It's very predictable.
But by the way, let's say he did invent the Blackberry. What in the hell does that have to do with the question, which was how this guy could fix the economy?
Well, they're trying to make, I think, the Senate Commerce Committee argument for John McCain as the appropriate skipper for the economy. And they're trying to say, well, anything that happened that might have vaguely been under the purview of the Senate Commerce Committee, like broadband communications, say, or PDAs, that's something that we should credit John McCain for. Well, yes, it's a bit of a stretch. Yes, it's a complete stretch that he invented the Blackberry. But even if you just look at what he did on technology issues, issues in the Senate Commerce Committee. When he left his position as head of the Senate Commerce Committee, if they really were that influential over the internet and PDAs and wireless communications and all this stuff, when he left, we were 15th in the world in broadband penetration. Kids in South Korea have been watching movies on their cell phones for years, and we're essentially still working on a crank in this country. So I'm not sure there's much to be proud of there.
Yeah, but think of what an advantage it was when Senator McCain invented the wheel. So,
yes.
I mean, now, the last point here, the soupy sales in me is coming out. The Obama campaign guys tinkered already with their Blackberries. Their signatures now read, "Sent from my Blackberry wireless handheld, a miracle made possible by John McCain." Is this the opportunity for people to get involved in this political process, to actually do something? If you do not want to see McCain elected, alter the signature on your Blackberry or your iPhone or just your email to say, "Sent from my Blackberry, John McCain says he invented it."
John McCain says he invented it, even though you shouldn't email him because he doesn't know how to work the email. Something to that effect, I think, and you're essentially going to get there. It's perfect.
The participatory democracy returns.
Through sig lines. I gotcha.